No, I just like being really slutty right now. It's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Can I ask you, do you have sex with men or women? Or both?
Both.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time?
No, but I would like to try that.
You go, girl boss. Have sex with as many people as possible because that's totally empowering and not at all dangerous. And while you're at it, why don't you do the most feminist thing a woman can do? Why don't you become a man and join the patriarchy? All jokes aside, this scene is from a movie called Close to You. It stars Ellen Page as a transgender man, and it was her first acting role after coming out as trans. According to this interview she did, all the dialogue in the movie was improvised. Ellen Page had zero improvisation experience prior to this film. This is insane. Actors are, for the most part, not writers. These two professions are entirely different. In rare cases, improvised films can succeed, but only if the actors have experience doing this sort of thing and are excellent writers. For example, the actors who perform at the best improv shows have a writing background, and famous Dungeons & Dragons style role players tend to be writers. Unfortunately though, most of the time, when films are improvised, the filmmakers are untalented and assume that improvisation is easy. When people who don't know a lot about movies see a good movie, they tend to think that the movie is good solely because of the actors, without realizing the insane amount of work done behind the scenes. Writers, editors, designers, producers, and so many other people are just as important to the success of a movie. The key to being a competent filmmaker is humility. It's knowing that you can't do everything by yourself and that you have a lot to learn. This way, self-awareness can push you to become a team player and to keep improving your craft. The filmmakers of Close to You do not have this humility, and their narcissism is on full display. They thought that this film would be successful just because it was about transgender issues. They assumed that what they had to say about trans issues was so genius that it could override their lack of talent and effort. Ellen Page is in the thumbnail of this video, so you probably clicked to see cringeworthy content, right? Well, considering that the script of this movie was made up on the spot by her, and she has no writing experience, there will be plenty of content to criticize. Before we begin, a quick introduction. My name is Mariana, and on my channel I dissect film, television, and video games from a radical feminist perspective. So if this interests you, please consider subscribing. And a quick disclaimer. This video does not advocate for harassment, violence, nor participation in hate groups of any kind. Usually I would provide a spoiler warning here, but you and I both know that you're not going to watch this movie anyways, so who cares? The movie's biggest flaw is that there's no real conflict. The main plot is about Ellen's character visiting her family after years of separation. She says that the reason why she is separated from her family is because her family members are terrible transphobes. However, upon further observation, her family is perfectly accepting and emotionally healthy.
Just missed you, that's all. I just miss you. When I see you here, it just makes me miss you more. I look at you starting your life like this, and I think how brave you are. How goddamn brave you are. My brave boy. You're my brave boy. And I'm so proud of you. Living who you really are. I say your kids will teach you about life, and mine has.
And when you finally called, and you sounded so happy, it was probably one of the happiest moments of my life. And the more you talked, and the more you assured me, you said, I'm okay, and I've got a place, and I've got a job, and I've met some people. And then you got to the big news, and you said, and I'm going through this. And I didn't even hear it at the time. And I know that's hard to believe, maybe, I don't know. But like I said, you're gonna have kids one day of your own, and you're gonna go through all of the same fucking horse shit that I did. And the most you can hope for is that all your kids come out the other end like you did. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
It's hard to come home to a place where you just didn't feel seen and you're just really trying to feel seen.
Her parents aren't transphobic at all. Trans activists like to pretend that they are oppressed when they are not. In other families, there are parents who violently abuse their children for years or kick them out of the house for being same-sex attracted. There are people with actual familial problems. And in countries like Iran, being same-sex attracted is punishable by death. Meanwhile, here we have Ellen complaining about what exactly? Nothing bad actually happens to Ellen, but she's crying in the majority of the scenes. In fact, all the characters cry so much. Why are they crying? Again, what the filmmakers didn't understand is that you cannot solely rely on actors to evoke emotion in the viewers. There needs to be conflict and a compelling plot in order for viewers to actually feel anything. Just because characters are crying on screen doesn't mean that the viewers will empathize with them. The filmmakers are trying to make a movie with tormented artist energy, but they do not have the artistic skills to inspire sadness in viewers. Also, the filmmakers are probably too lazy to put in the work required to develop a compelling script. So instead, they rely on cheap tactics like shaky cam to try to appear edgy. Because there was so little planning done for this movie, many scenes have nothing happening in them. Here's an example of a scene where Ellen is walking from her home to the train station. I fast-forwarded this scene. The total amount of time spent walking and doing nothing else is too long. This is so much dead air. There's no reason to show this, and it doesn't contribute to the story whatsoever. The only actual conflict in this 1 hour and 30-minute long movie is this scene, and it only lasts for a couple of minutes. Ellen's character has a brother-in-law. The brother-in-law complains that he is unsure what he is and isn't allowed to say politically.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I don't know all the rules, all the fancy whatever.
Sorry, the rules?
What?
I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what rules? What do you...
How you know, how all the things to say, all the whatever. Yeah, look, Meg gave me this whole list of like, here's what you say, here's what you don't say, and I was just like, all right, well, we can figure it out.
Ellen denies that there are rules regarding speech when it comes to trans issues.
What are you talking about, rules?
This is a lie. When speaking to trans people, you must use their fake name, call them by the wrong pronouns, agree that it's fair for men to compete against women in sports, agree that it's safe for men to be in women's bathrooms, agree that men with lesbian fetishes are lesbians, and more.
I don't understand why you can't just, like, appreciate someone's, like, existence. Like, why can't you just respect that?
This is narcissistic. You are not entitled to appreciation from anyone.
You didn't need to say that.
So much of the strategy behind trans politics involves prohibiting people from saying what's actually on their mind.
You obviously, you go, oh, I'm trying to know the rules. Next thing you know, you're like, fuck them. Which is basically you just saying, like, I'm not gonna register or regard or respect your humanity on any fucking level or who you are.
That is not what I'm saying.
It is what you're saying. It is what you're saying when you do that.
It's perfectly possible to respect a person's humanity while disagreeing with their choices. Ellen is taking things too personally.
And that's how it makes me fucking feel.
Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that feeling is reasonable. In this scene, Ellen's family forces the quote-unquote transphobic man to give a social media influencer-style apology.
I didn't mean anything by it. This is not...
And then Ellen gives the typical Twitter activist-style response to said apology.
You did mean something by it.
Why are trans activists so hell-bent on getting people to apologize for things that they are not sorry for? If someone is rude, you shouldn't let it get to you. Your happiness shouldn't be contingent on someone's apology. And if an apology isn't freely given, it isn't genuine. I will say there is a time and place to talk about politics, and a family gathering with in-laws is not the best place. The brother-in-law could have had a more respectful delivery when debating politics with Ellen, but honestly, this was the only actually entertaining part of the movie, because this was the only time in the entire film where there was any real conflict between two characters, rather than imagined or petty conflict like when Ellen was talking to her blood-related family members. After the argument with the brother-in-law, Ellen's mother tries to make peace and convince Ellen to stay for dinner. She says, "Girls, can you get the dishes from the kitchen, please?" while the men in the family sit down at the table.
Girls, can you get the dishes from the kitchen, please?
This family is sexist for making all the women do the cooking, while the men sit on their asses doing nothing. And Ellen is benefiting from said sexism by pretending to be a man. The thing is, when women transition into men, They do not get rid of the sexism in their environment. Rather, they end up playing into it. For example, Ellen's sisters still have to cook. Ellen only helped herself. And when her mother is sexist in this way, Ellen doesn't do anything. I guess she doesn't care about sexism and only cares about quote-unquote transphobia. Additionally, the movie has a subplot where Ellen's character rekindles a love she had with her high school sweetheart. Ellen and her love interest's ages are not disclosed in the film, but in real life, Ellen is 38 and the actress who plays Ellen's love interest is 48. In this scene, Ellen's love interest completely loses it over meeting Ellen again, even though they haven't seen each other since high school.
Hey. I was just gonna say I'm in town all weekend if you wanted to grab a coffee or go for a walk or something.
I'm really busy, you know?
Yeah, no,
I can't do this right now. I can't. It's just too much, you know? You know, like my life is completely different now. I would go for a coffee and then what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You understand, right? Like, the other's about to come and get me, and I'm about to go, you know,
This is unrealistic. Middle-aged married people don't usually freak out like this over some high school flame. The only thing that would make this make sense is if she's a lesbian, and after dating Ellen, has only dated biological men. Shortly after seeing Ellen, she starts cheating on her husband. This movie promotes unhealthy relationship dynamics in so many ways. First of all, it's unhealthy to romanticize not letting go of an ex for 30 years.
when you think about us back then, what was it? What was it for you?
These two are unable to let go of the past. They should have either tried to make things work after high school or chosen to let go of each other entirely. In situations like this, these two choices were the only healthy options. Staying attached to someone you're not with for 30 years is not romantic. It's stupid. This scene was just sad. Not sad in the sense that it evokes emotion in the viewer. No, that would actually require skill on the part of the filmmakers. Sad as in, that's really pathetic that you're almost 50, still not over your high school flame, and haven't even tried until now to get back together. Also, you shouldn't get married to a man if you don't love him. In the 1960s, this was more common because women were not able to have well-paying jobs, and because there was a lot of homophobia. Back then, women were forced into loveless marriages with entitled men who didn't even notice that their wives didn't love them. But in 2025, in America, barring a few exceptions, you are not forced to marry a man. It's wrong to marry someone you don't love, and it's not okay to cheat on your male partner just because the person you are cheating with is female. And the filmmakers have even less excuse for attempting to romanticize the cheating, considering that they think Ellen is male. What the filmmakers are implying with this romanticization is that it's okay to cheat on a white heterosexual male if the other person is a minority. Overall, I couldn't care less about these characters. And that's not because I'm a raging transphobe, which I am. It's because the film is poorly made. In reality, though, there's a lot to be sad about regarding Ellen's situation. Not because of some false notion of societal transphobia, but because it's sad that we live in a world where masculine lesbians feel like they need to conform to gender expectations by transitioning into straight men. Lesbians are no longer allowed to be extremely masculine without people in their own communities pressuring them into transitioning to better fit heterosexual gender roles. It's real hard to feel bad for Ellen because she's so whiny in the movie, and honestly, I don't. However, more generally, I do feel bad for the many young women who have been brainwashed by trans ideology, a lot of whom suffer from body image issues, and who transition in order to escape misogyny. Feminists need to tell these masculine women that they are perfectly fine the way that they are, that remaining a uniquely androgynous woman in a world that demands conformity is an act of admirable rebellion, and that transgenderism, in spirit, is so 1960s. I am new to making YouTube videos, but I plan to make more soon, and consistently. If you enjoyed this video, please consider following me on Twitch as well. I live stream occasionally, so if you want to hang out and chat, feel free to stop by. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.